Hey, hello everyone. My name is Kenia Regatha Siahaya from 4th semester of PK with my student ID is 241511073, and today we will be learning about zero-click vulnerability. So first, let's start with the introduction. So in recent years, mobile devices such as Android smartphones and iPhones, which uses iOS, have become major targets of cyber attacks because they store important user data that includes some of their personal information like banking data, email, social media accounts, some corporate data for their works, and then, of course, user location and activity. Now, one of the most dangerous threats today is the zero-click attack. This is a type of cyber attack that can execute without any user interactions. Now, let's understand what zero-click actually means. Now, a zero-click attack is a cyber attack method in which the victim does not need to click a link, open a file, install an application, and grant permissions. The attack can execute simply by receiving specifically crafted data, such as like messages, calls, multimedia files, anything that we receive from like messaging apps such as WhatsApp. The reason why this is dangerous is because it is very difficult to detect for users, and it doesn't require social engineering like what phishing use. And it can silently take control of your devices and is commonly used by advanced spyware. Some recent cases from news reports is from Apple, which has repeatedly released emergency security updates to patch zero-click vulnerabilities in iMessage, FaceTime, Safari WebKit, and one of the most famous cases involved this spyware called Pegasus, which is developed by the NSO group that could infect iPhones through iMessage without the victim opening the message. Now, this is obviously very, very dangerous. Therefore, they did make some mitigation attempts to uh, solve this. With from Android cases, it also have experienced some vulnerable involving media frameworks, some Bluetooth, and others. While Google also regularly publishes Android security built-in to patch vulnerabilities that allow remote code execution, privilege escalation, and spyware installation. Now, some of the operating system that involved could be from messaging services like iMessage, vulnerable because the system automatically processes the message reviews, images, video, etc. And then B is media processing framework that one of the examples of this is StageFright on Android since it processes images, audio, videos, and PDFs. And of course, Android has its own iMessage, which is called WhatsApp. It is installed to our phone, and some of those zero-click attacks may happen if someone just simply processes some images that maybe their friends or their family sends them to. Now, if the media parsers contain memory corruption laws, attackers can execute malicious code. Now, the conceptual flow of zero-click starts from payload delivery, automatic processing, and then code execution, privilege escalation, and spyware installation. So the step one, payload delivery, the attackers will send the messages that contains the attack, and then the processing generates previews, parses files, and decodes the media. And then code execution is when the payload executes malicious code in the device memory. And then for privilege escalation is when the attackers attempt to gain higher privilege, like root access. And then five, spyware installation, which the device begins the surveillance and uh, doing some data theft, while also maybe some microphone and camera monitoring. Now, why are mobile OS vulnerable and what are the impacts? The modern operating system include high complex features, automatic multimedia parsing, constant connectivity, and cloud integration. Now, the more complex the OS, the larger the attack surface can be. The impacts of this will be some private information theft, some spywares, account hijacking, and of course financial loss since most of these attacks are financially motivated. Now, some of the mitigation strategies should include some regular updates, sandboxing, and isolation for newly installed app. Glassdoor, for example, for iOS, it isolates messages processing and limits permissions. So some of the challenges in mobile OS security would be some Android fragmentation, which is where many Android vendors are slow in delivering security updates. Therefore, many devices will remain vulnerable. And then some sophisticated attacks, which where modern zero-clicks attacks often uses exploit chains, and these attacks are extremely difficult to attack. The third one is security versus convenience trade-off. With Automatic features such as message previews and auto download media, while it definitely improves convenience, but it also increases security risks. So, in conclusion, zero clicks are dangerous because attackers can hack mobile devices without any actions from the users and may steal sensitive data from users. Most of the common targets will include messaging apps, media processing systems, and browsers. Recent cases show that Android and iOS have growing security threats. Therefore, it is very, very important for us to regularly update our operating system to fix security weaknesses. That is all that I can present to you. Thank you for watching, and may we meet again at the next opportunity. Thank you.